Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bergenstages Television, our entertainment magazine here at Bergen Community College. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host. Today we're going to talk about a course here that's called the Theater Production Workshop and their play, Poor Fellows, that they're about to open, and we want to talk to the directors. So we're so proud to have you guys here today. So please welcome our three guests, our three directors, our three students, Joey Liberti, Hector Hidalgo Ramon, and Mike Ravita. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
No, great to have you guys. We're going to talk about all the challenges and everything with this course, but I just want the audience to know you guys just a little bit more. So, Joey, how are we so lucky to have you here at Bergen Community College?
Right. So I started at Bergen in the fall of 2023, this past fall.
2022.
2022, fall. Right, yeah, 2023 is this year. I started the fall of 22. This is my second semester here, and I am a Associate of Fine Arts theater major. Just had to figure out what degree it was. I'm doing that degree, and in my other time, I work at the Black Box PAC. I work there. We incubate theater for transfers for New York City. So we work with playwrights and directors and things, and I've been working there for about 2-3 years now.
Cool. And where did you go to high school?
I went to Dwight Morrow High School in Englewood.
And you did a lot of productions while you were there, didn't you?
Yes, I did. When I was in Dwight Morrow, I was in the academies of Dwight Morrow, but we're all one school. I did Into the Woods, I did Mamma Mia, I did Working, I did Rent, and we did a virtual show. We did Chicago, which was fun. And I tend to straddle the line between actor and backstage technical production team. But now I find myself doing like every aspect of theater I can get my hands on. I've done like front of house, props coordinator, costume designer, now directing and playwriting and other things like that. So
that's so cool too.
I'm just happy to be getting my hands on whatever I can.
As much as you can, yeah. A kind of general practitioner. Hector Hidalgo Ramon. How are we lucky to have you here at Bergen?
So I started Bergen here about maybe a year and a half ago. I took time off of college after high school. I went to Union City High School in Hudson County. I started theater there after I stopped doing sports. I played football, and I decided I didn't like it and started to do theater, and that's how I started my journey into theater.
Cool.
I took about maybe 2.5 years, more some change, out of college, and during that time, I started dabbling in professional wrestling.
I love it.
And I did professional wrestling for about a year and a half. I went under the name Set the Showman, and I never really left the whole acting persona behind. It
What
stuck
shows
with
did
me.
you do at Union?
I wrestled in 2 companies mostly. I wrestled in SCW and I wrestled in ECPW.
No, I'm sorry. What plays did you do?
Oh,
when
what
you
plays
were
did I
at
do in
Union?
Union City High School? Oh, my
yeah.
apologies. Well, my first show was A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is funny because now
Now you're gonna be
I got
Bergen.
cast again in A Midsummer Night's Dream as the same 2 characters.
Oh, that's fun.
I did The Drowsy Chaperone, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and the last show I did there was a chorus line, and I was cast as Mike Costa.
Cool.
And then once COVID happened, we had to cancel the show, which sucks.
We've all been to that one.
Yeah.
All of us did, yeah, at somewhere in the...
But then I retired from professional wrestling early so that I could come back to school and pursue theater again.
Do you think you'll go ever back to wrestling, or do you think it's really
Definitely
retired?
in the future.
Oh, cool. So you're not retired, you're just
No, I
on a
just
hiatus.
I just took a little hiatus.
Good,
But I kind of want to just focus purely on theater because I know I have such a big love for this. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life, whether it's teaching it, working in it on stage or backstage. I just want to do this for my bread and butter.
Cool. Good for
And
you. Good.
yeah.
Good. I love it. And Mike Ravito, I should say, welcome back, Mike Ravito,
yeah.
because you were here for the Crucible post discussion about the play.
That's
so
right,
welcome
yes.
back. But remind our audience a little bit about your background, how we got Mike here.
I've been here probably a little longer than you guys. I started here fall of 2015. I went to Northern Highlands in Allendale, which is about 15 minutes from here. I did a little theater there, but I didn't really start doing theater very much until I got here to Bergen.
What was the bug that lit your fire for doing it? What here made you say, I want to do that? Was it a class you took? Was it a...
Yes, actually, now that you sparked my memory a little bit. I took Mary's basic acting class.
Mary Clifford, right?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. So you just, on a whim, thought, I'll take basic acting and see what that's like?
Well, my parents had seen me do some stuff in high
cool.
school, so they were kind of saying, "Hey, you should maybe give it a shot," you know. And I went in one night, and she really thought I was good. People thought I was good, and you know, then I auditioned for Enemy of the People spring 2017, and that was a lot of fun. And I've done a lot of shows here. Most recently, Crucible, which was a real experience. Yeah.
And even more so, you're in a production of Radium Girls.
That's right. That's my current production.
So,
yes.
so you've been pretty busy while you're here. So
Yes.
started Enemy of the People and now Radium Girls, and now you are on your way to Ramapo.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm going there in the fall of this coming year. I'm graduating here. Yes.
And the happily ever after starts.
Oh.
Good. Well, we'll miss you, but you're not too far down the road that we'll come see what you're doing over there at Ramapo College. But congratulations
Thank
on,
you.
on graduating and getting through the program. And some students don't want to do 15 credit load or whatever it takes to get through. It's like, no, I'll just take a few classes here and there. And then of course the pandemic, some people I'm not an online person. I don't want to do it. I'm going to take the time off and then
That's
wait
what
till
stretched me out a little longer.
yeah, that was stretched it out. Yeah, but you've done it, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And you too will follow as well. I know. So, so that's a little bit about your background and some of the things that you are doing currently. The Bergen Alumni Theater is doing this production of A Midsummer Night's Dream that you talked about being in. So, so we have a new group coming in and doing that show in June. So, congratulations on that too.
Thank you so much.
I just saw the cast list, so I said, oh, good. And you already know the lines, so this will be easy. They come right back to you.
They actually slowly kind of did. During my audition for Oberon, I kind of felt some of the lines come back.
Clicked right in with, oh, yeah, I got this. Yeah. Good. Of course, it'll be scary because I thought I knew this and I didn't. Yeah, well, anyway. So talking about being a theater student here in the AFA program, most students are either in the AAF theater for acting or general or the AAS for technical theater. But I think all of you are theater enthusiasts taking classes. You've taken basic acting. What else do you take here at the college for the degree? What other courses?
Well, I've taken stagecraft and lighting, stage makeup. I was working on costume design with Marie Natali. Voice and movement. There's scene study,
Scene
and
study,
there's a million courses.
Anything
I think.
else, Hector, we're forgetting? Ms. Pyle or Mike? Audition techniques?
Audition techniques, yes. That was my favorite class. Yeah.
Mike, did you take acting for the camera?
I did, yes.
Good. So now we have the ability to work in front of a camera. So we have a course that teaches actors that want to get into film and television and commercial work, how to perform in front of a camera. Good. So there's a lot of great courses. But stagecraft is important for the course that we're in now. So let's just kind of talk about theater production workshop. I love being, I want to say the mentor. I don't feel like I'm a teacher for the class, but just a mentor to go through the class. So what is theater production workshop? Can you describe the class? Yeah, Hector, go ahead.
The way how I describe it to people who ever ask me about it, especially my friends outside of Bergen, I always call it life after theater school simulator. That's what I call it.
Perfect.
And I really enjoy the class. I don't want to get too personal, but
please.
being in this class makes me realize how much I really need to learn, because I only know how to act and how to sing and maybe a little bit how to dance. But then people start talking about like stagecraft stuff, audio stuff, and like production stuff. And I'm like, oh, I have no idea what this means.
And it's great to learn because if you're going to get into theater education, they're going to turn to you like you need to know at least a little bit about it. I think it's like being a general practitioner. I think, Joe, you're talking about is like kind of knowing as much of a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Your focus might be acting or singing and performing, but the fact is that if I want to teach or have my own theater company, and that's kind of where we go with this class, isn't it, Mike? Creating your own theater company?
Yes, I have to admit, though, this class is a little more difficult for me than others, other people, maybe, yeah. Even though I direct 2 scenes, and, you know, I enjoy it, you know, I enjoy directing the 2 scenes. it's kind of difficult, negotiating with people while you're, well, for example, one thing is scheduling rehearsals.
Right.
Some people may say, hey, I can't do it this week out of the clear blue. And,
So I want to talk about the plays themselves in just a moment, but first I
Okay.
want to talk about what we did in the course so far to get us to this place. So the company decided to do a show, and this is a show that we're doing. But let's talk about what got us there. Do you remember some of the stuff we started the semester?
Yes. So in the beginning, well, the concept of the class, if I'm correct,
Please, yeah.
would be to form our own theater company and to know the ins and outs and the tricks of the trade and things like that. So before we began to pick our showcase and our, what we wanted to exhibit, we began to talk about how the things that are necessary to form your own theater company. We talked about the financing, and we talked about the venues and how to schedule and how to create the blueprint, the layout for our production.
Right. And I remember, Hector, you all found theater companies that are out there and looked for their mission statement, that they had a reason to exist. I think yours was in Nashville. I think you found one in Nashville. which is
Yes,
totally
your
fine.
assignment was to find one in New York, and I found
And you might go to Nashville to do a theater, but the fact is that there are theater companies all over the country, all over the world, so you don't know where it's going to be. But the opportunity to do things in New York are great, and a lot of students will get out of college. Once you finish Ramapo or wherever you're going, you might say, hey, we need to show who we are to agents and casting people, and the best way to do it is to do a show. And the cheapest way to do it is to do it off Broadway. And so that's kind of what we discovered. Was that a difficult part on this, Mike, or was learning about the off-Broadway theater companies?
I had no idea there was something called off-Broadway at first. That was a bit of a shock to me. Learning about different companies that are off-Broadway, I didn't know there were so many. I had heard rumors. Oh, there's a theater on every block you go on in New York City. But I guess it's kind of true,
Pretty much, yeah. In church basements, in schools, and then some have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 theater companies right there in a row. But they're all small venues. An off-Broadway theater company can only have 99 seats, so it's a very small venue out there. But it gets a chance to showcase yourself cheaper, as opposed to if you got to Broadway or off-Broadway, you're going to have a ton of money. And I think we were exploring, I think, Hector, you were talking about the money that it takes to make this happen. And,
Yes.
and I love some of the things I sent you out to look for were what? What are some of the things you had to...
You sent us out. First, you made us. You made us calculate exactly how much an actor's salary would be just for 2 weeks of rehearsal. I forgot exactly what the amount was, but it was pretty hefty.
Well, and plus you only have to pay for transportation, but it depends on the size of your cast and how many people you're paying.
Yeah,
for,
so
for subway fare.
it adds up, and they're not even getting paid a wage; they're just getting paid to get there.
Reimbursing this.
So I could only imagine how much more expensive it gets once it's an off-Broadway or on-Broadway paid show. It's just like, ooh.
Cool. And what else did we looked at paint, and that's where your
Paints,
stagecraft came in. I was
and,
just kind of leaning on you, going, okay, you got to build a piece of set, and we worked on a back faux wall and discovered how much the paint costs. And
You also made us calculate lumber prices.
lumber prices as well, just kind of adding that together, and just kind of ka-ching, the money kind of starts rising up. But it's great to know, as you said, it's kind of like a simulation of what it's going to be when you get out there, and to be prepared for it, whether you're doing it in a school setting or you're doing it semi-professionally or professionally, it's going to cost some money, which I think Black Box also knows as well, knowing these small theater companies at the cost of it. Well, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and talk about Poor Fellows, the shows that you all are directing in. So, so hang on to all those thoughts. You hang on and come right back, and we'll be talking about Poor Fellows as part of the theater production workshop.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his
I
backpack.
can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just gotta
trying as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Hello and welcome back to Bergenstages Television. We have been talking to three of our actor, director, performers, students who are in our theater production workshop, and we're on our way to be doing a production of Poor Fellows by Mark Panettiere. And here to join me in talking about it a little bit more, why do I want to get that wrong? Liberty, Hector Hidalgo Ramon, and Mike Ravito. So guys, we were talking about what we've been doing in this class to get it going, and I love that it's kind of a getting ready for the real world out there kind of class. And I think it is. I think you learn this isn't cheap to do, and if you're going to do it, you need to find some investors, somebody to help you with it, or draw down on your credit card. No, I'm kidding. But it does get expensive. But the class then becomes a company, as you were saying, Hector, and then the company, we looked at a couple of plays and looked at the class size, and we have mostly men in the class, and I think only one actress. Jill is our stage manager, so they're not planning to act in this at this point. And it's a self-contained class. Unlike the director's workshop where the directors go out and find the talent to come in, this is a self-contained class. You are building the sets. What else? Hanging lights.
Doing the
patching
painting.
sound,
Patching sound.
costuming,
Costuming.
makeuping.
Scenes.
Yep. Directing the scenes.
And acting in them.
Acting in some of the scenes. Some of you are acting in them. It's doing it all. Poster design. It's amazing what all goes into making this company happen. And you guys are doing it all. Now you're painting the set, so everybody's coming in and pitching in and painting on the set. But we did run off and get props and costumes and all that kind of stuff is happening. But we talked about different productions to do, and knowing that the makeup of the class, we settled on Poor Fellows by Mark Panettiere. So can you guys tell me, you're each directing scenes 3, 2, 1, right? No, 3, 2, 1.
2.
3, but anyway, scenes in the play. So can you describe the event of the play, Hector and Mike? I'll come back to you, Jay. Just describe the play. What is it?
Well, the play, I guess in contrast to the movie, well, I wouldn't say that. That's a bad one. That's kind of,
I like that joke.
So it's 6 scenes.
It's 6 scenes. They're all just scenes that, have unfortunate outcomes in them. And I guess that's why they came up with the name Poor Fellas. Because, it's just like, I'm a poor fella. This happened to me.
Poor dude, man. That's tough. Poor guy. Yeah. So the 6 scenes aren't related to each other, though.
No, they're not.
I'm going to say not just scenes. They're one acts. They're truly one acts.
They're all in vignettes, and some of them can actually be quite interpretive. So a lot of the scenes are a lot more straightforward than others are. Like Joey has a scene that is a little bit more up for interpretation, but it still has a beautiful message.
What are we doing?
The Departure of Brian O'Callaghan.
Oh, right, which is set on the beach.
Yes.
And without giving away any of it, what is it?
Right. Well, that's the one scene in particular, at least of mine, of my 3 scenes, that I'm having the most fun with, because it's the beauty of that it's up for interpretation, the lack of detail in the writing that you can play with it. And as a director, I've been playing with my themes and what I want to convey to the audience and what I want to hide from the audience and let the audience interpret themselves.
But in this play, if you win literally, you got a guy on the beach talking to
an alien.
An alien.
An alien of sorts. And he's speaking to the alien about life and things like that. They're having a conversation, and this man's girlfriend walks in, and they start having a conversation in which the girlfriend and the man start to fall off. They start to have an argument, and she leaves. At the end of the scene,
you don't have to give it away.
Scene resolves
But the reason he's on the beach is they're
because
coming to get him.
Yes.
The aliens are coming to beam him aboard, as it were. And I think that's cool. And he's talking about some of these are not open to quite such open. You have one set in a cemetery, yeah?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that one.
That one's called Making Sense of Nothing, and Hector's actually
actor,
in that one. That's, excuse me, that one is about a guy who fell off a scaffold at a construction site. I guess he was the boss of the construction site, and so Hector's at the funeral with another guy, and the guy's much younger than Hector is supposed to be in the scene. And they're talking about, oh, you know, is there God, isn't there? And then they...
About religion, about where we go and
that
all that kind of
stuff,
stuff.
you know.
Yeah.
And then they get into the fireball, I think it is. Yeah.
We don't want to give it away, but yes.
Okay,
but the guy that has passed away, that fell to his death,
Yes.
Was a mentor to both the guys. In some way, kind of helped them and gave them courage to get up on
He
the
was
scaffold.
more a mentor to Hector's character. He was nice to Lewis's character, but he, I think not the Hector character, the
character that
Jerome
Hector plays.
character stretches it a little more than the Lewis character.
Right. And you're directing...
I'm directing the titular scene called Poor Fellas.
Wait, that's interesting, too, yeah. And this one's set...
This one's set in a dive bar.
In a dive, okay.
And it's these two men. They get together. They meet together because they both have like a little tale to tell about their ex-girlfriends.
They've both been dumped.
They've both been dumped. Yes.
Poor
And
fellas.
should I give away?
Just not too much. No. I wouldn't give the what has happened to the women, but I think the fact is that here's two guys that have been dumped.
Two guys have been dumped.
Two
They're
guys
together
at
at the
a funeral.
bar.
The friend has fallen from scaffolding. An alien talking to a guy on the beach. Then we have, I'm just kind of running through our repertoire here.
Baseball.
Right? The prologue, which starts it off as a guy in a classroom.
Yes, and they go to Catholic school together, he and his friend. They open the scene with him being absent that day, his friend. And he talks about how on Friday nights they go to a movie theater and they not pick up girls, but necessarily they just check out girls, basically.
But these are pretty much losers. They don't normally get the girl, especially one of the characters.
Yeah, but I think one point of the play is it's kind of just a suppressed desire that
They're high school.
all boys schools have.
Yeah. And so one is sitting next to the love of his life, and we won't give away what's going on there. And then Joe, you have two other ones.
Yes. I have a scene called Tough Guys, which is set in a nightclub, and it's two men.
We're the nightclub. It's the nightclub bathroom.
It's the bathroom of a nightclub, the seedy bathroom of a nightclub. And
and these two guys are, one's stud, man. He's like,
right.
I'm here, baby.
Yeah, he is.
You
He
have
really
these two friends who haven't seen each other in a while, and they're rekindling their friendship. And they're having a conversation about the women that they're trying to pick up in the nightclub. And the more macho man of the two, which is being played by Hector, actually, he has a certain tactic to go out and pick up these women. And the...
Kind of a loser tactic, but it's
right,
a tactic.
yeah,
Nonetheless.
whatever floats your boat. So what happens is the moral of the story, or the moral of that scene in particular, is what I'm interpreting it as is how things can fall apart and how we choose to react to them.
Oh, cool. Cool. I like that. Yeah, finding these themes are really important. And then the last one you're directing?
Yes, it's called Rocks, and it is set in a bullpen in a minor league baseball game. They're in the middle of a baseball game, and what happens is they are there's the righty reliever is sitting on the bench, and he's sitting with the
catcher.
The catcher. I was going to say the goalie. So it's not the goalie. Sitting with the catcher, and they're having a conversation about life and things like that. And they have an old bullpen ritual in which they have stones, and they're rocks. And that's the title of the scene. And it's almost like gambling in a way. They throw the stones in a pit, and they say if they fell in a triangle, their yes or no question means no, and if it falls in a straight line.
Almost, in kind of ways like, Ouija, tell me, should I go? Yeah.
And what happens is there's another, the other righty reliever, the rookie, who really is the replacement of the person sitting on the bench, they have a clashing back and forth of a superiority complex, and there's all these almost like traditionally masculine traits between the three of them, and there's a dynamic that I'm playing into.
Oh, cool.
And the moral of it is just like having. It's also being in control of what you choose to receive and what you choose to leave up to the stones in question.
Well, and I think we've all been looking at the moral of our particular scenes in order to, because this was a big conversation we had in classes. What is the message we're trying to?
Oh, wow. That was a long conversation. So we first decided, initially, what a tautology. We initially decided that it was supposed to be about masculinity. What was it, like finding masculinity or something like that?
Something like that.
And then after, I think, maybe 2 classes, first off, the whole masculinity thing, it's a bit on the nose. Especially because, like, when it comes to, like, views of, like, what masculinity is, especially in this day and age, modern men are still trying to figure out what masculinity truly is.
Right.
And leave behind what this image of masculinity has been for a couple of years, which is, like, in my opinion, I think the image of what masculinity has been for the past couple centuries, it's just wrong. It's misogynistic.
Yeah.
And patriarchal.
And this play proves that, or this play proves there's hope beyond that?
When we put it in when we put it in the light of it being about the sadness of masculinity, it does prove to be patriarchal in nature.
Yeah.
But when we started to move away from it, it started to become about, like, the beauty and despair of life, which I feel like makes a lot more sense.
It kind of works together. Yeah. And much easier to direct that
It's
as
much-
opposed to hopelessness.
It's much easier to direct, and it's much easier to connect with, because if you bring this out to an audience, and the audience is filled with women, or it's filled with men who don't abide by traditional masculine views, it's either going to get flown over the head, or it's going to make you upset.
Right.
And when you put it under the theme of masculinity, it becomes very upsetting.
Yeah.
Especially because all the women in this show can be seen as very minor roles or roles that appeal to men.
Yeah.
Our one actress
Playing
does role.
3 different
She
roles, I
plays
think.
3 different roles, and it's all very, like, appeasing to men roles.
Interesting. Yeah.
And if we put it under the theme of masculinity, it becomes offensive.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she's a waitress, a wife, and all that.
So I'm sorry, I know there's some challenges with this class, and you had been talking about just trying to get actors together to be at rehearsals on time, which directors always have to deal with. So it's something that you're getting into. You're painting the set, you're picking costumes, you're responsible for your own shows, but you're also responsible for the entire evening, which is going to happen April 27th. We open April 27th. It goes 27th, 28th, and 29th. So it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at 7:30 in our lab theater, in the Inter Hall Lab Theater, which is a great space to be doing this production.
Amazing.
And it rotates along. So guys, we're out of time. We've talked so much about our shows, but thank you guys for being here, Joey, Hector, Mike. Thank you for watching. It's called Poor Fellows by Mark Panettiere, and it's directed by these 3 wonderful men that are here, and features our entire class of the Theater Production Workshop. So please join us at Inter Hall on April 27th, 28th, and 29th. Thank you guys, and thank you for watching.